Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and this is Bloodborne, the City of the Unseen. It's a custom Arkham horror campaign that just went into alpha testing January 16th, 2023, and I love Bloodborne. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and Arkham Horror is my favorite board game / card game of all time. So seeing these two things get mixed, I absolutely love it. Looking forward to playtesting this. I'll be giving feedback in the videos as I go. I also have a Word document where I keep track of my thoughts. I'm doing that off the table, or off the camera rather, with my tabletop group, and I'll be doing it while I make these videos as well. At the end of all this, rather than a campaign review like I would normally have because the campaign isn't finished, I'll have a big feedback video that's probably going to be just like an hour long of me meticulously going through and talking about how I felt with regard to each mechanic, whether I had a positive or negative reaction to things, how they felt and why they felt that way. Not you should change it because, but that's unhelpful. But you need to know as a game maker how people feel when they see things. I will also point out any things that are actually just changes that should be made because they're mechanically either obtuse or incorrect, or just too much for the player to think about. If there's a scenario where there's just too much text, there's too many rules to keep it all in your head at once, I'll be sure to point that out, that sort of thing. Now, before I get into anything involving the campaign, let's go talk about Diana and Skids, who we'll be playing today. Coming over to the parallel Skids deck plan, this is what I'm aiming for. He's technically flex, he's our main fighter, but he will just have 5 book and 6 action, so I mean, he can help with that. He can find some clues. Normally, as main fighter, I would not run just one Switchblade, even though this deck is stupid consistent. You see half your deck just off the mulligan when you hard mulligan. I still would run a 1-of Knuckle Duster in addition to this. You can't run 2 Switchblades because it is an Underworld support deck. The Knuckle Duster is basically the same as the Switchblade though, because if we're using Dirty Fighting, we're evading them with Well Connected, they're tripped. There's no difference in Knuckle Duster and Switchblade. I mean, there is. The Switchblade costs 1 less and it's fast, and if you would have missed by 1 or 2 with the Knuckle Duster, then the Switchblade will deal 1 damage. But by and large, they're both just punch for 2 damage, basic cheap melee weapon. However, because we're playing in Bloodborne, that campaign does give us an additional weapon right at the start, so I'm not planning on having a second backup weapon. If I had to make a cut, it would probably be one of the skills down here, calculated risk, watch this, something like that. And as to these luckies, these are not important. These are like the last 5 experience in this 42 experience deck. My friends in low places, as always, is going to be upgraded with versatile and experienced, so I look at the top 9, and my traits declared are innate and item. So I get to see all of my skills except for watch this and calculated risk, so I have 4 hits on skills for economy. And then I get to see my Switchblade, my Black Fan, and my Heavy Furs, all of which are very core cards to what I want to do. Coming down to the level 0 version, it's a mess, it's a crazy deck. You need to shoot at +2. You can't use a weapon that does +1 when you have 3 in Fist and you're not reliably boosting it. So 45 Thompson, get in here. Mulzer, get in here. Lonnie, get in here. Hard Knocks, hey, I need the plus fist. I've got the money, it's fine. I'll need to get more bullets so I can throw my gun at them and then get it out of the trash to deal some damage and get more bullets when I replay it. I've got a Contraband. These both start with 5 bullets, making Contraband pretty good. Theoretically, you could also use your 1 experience here on like a Reastrad, but for reasons I'll get into during the campaign, I don't need Reastrad in scenario 1. I'm starting with the weapon in play because that's how the Bloodborne campaign is going to work. So yeah, that's the plan for parallel Skids, and alongside him, we're going to be playing Diana as a flex character. My favorite way to play Flex Mystics is you fight with your hands, you find clues with your assets, and the rest of your deck does what it can to make you consistently find those items and synergize with your Investigator. In this case, we have a whole lot of cancel shenanigans going on. We have Bandolier to hold our Twilight Blade, and another item that is again from the campaign. It's the reason I decided to go for Bandolier strats. We have backpacks for consistency on everything but our spells. We have Brother Xavier's because, I mean, it's just a good ally, but it's exceptionally good when you really do need the head. And then, like, yeah, this is a pretty normal looking Diana deck, I feel. Coming over, it's a Down the Rabbit Hole deck. This is just, you saw this, this is the same deck. I have In the Thick of It, I'm going down to 5/5 base, which is a little bit spook, but having Brother Xavier as my In the Thick of It card does help a lot to make it less scary. I've downgraded my Cyclopean Hammers to Dragon Poles, and the 3 counter cards that I no longer have become Read the Signs, which is technically a card that ignores stuff. It's unlikely to trigger, and Eldritch Inspiration, which is going to trigger eventually. And this is on the low side of counters. I think that's how you want to play Diana though. You want to have like 8 to 12 counter cards. You don't want more than that. Our final deck is sitting at 2, 4, the signatures of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Word of Protections, 10, 11. We're sitting right at 11. I think that's the upper end of what you really want because you do need to reliably get this basement filled. If you're not at least a 4-head Mystic, you can't do your job. But after that point, you don't want to like keep drawing bad cards. You don't want to have done your job, got it online, and keep drawing cards like Eldritch Inspiration, for instance. This just doesn't deserve a slot in the deck. You want to cut as much as you can while still reliably doing the Diana thing. But yeah, I think that's everything there is to say about these decks. They're both fairly straightforward in their goals and methodologies. So let's get into the campaign. Let's start testing Bloodborne. Now, first things first, there's something I'm not giving feedback on. It's your flavor text. I can't give feedback on flavor text, and here is why. We aren't reading it. At my tabletop group, we didn't read this. We all played Bloodborne multiple times. None of us felt the need to read the story of Bloodborne. It seems like the story has definitely changed in a not insignificant way. That's totally fine. But we're not interested in reading to figure out how. And it's because we're just burnt out on reading, man. It's not that this is too much text. This is like the same amount of text in Scarlet Keys and Edge of the Earth. It's perfectly acceptable. Official campaigns are doing the same thing. Like, I'm sorry, the text is fine. A lot of work went into it. It's really good. But in Night of the Zealot, you flip to page 2 and you have resolution of scenario 1. I just want to play the game. I don't want to read. I'm here for the board game. And after Edge of the Earth and Scarlet Keys, like, I played 3 versions of Scarlet Keys and an Edge of the Earth run in the past month. I'm burnt out on text. I can't give feedback on it. And as an English major, that makes me really sad, but I just can't do it. The first new mechanic is the Insight token. In the Chaos bag, you'll see we have 3 Insight tokens. All of these are +1, draw another token. And like Curse and Bless tokens, they come to the bag when you're finished with them, but instead of going back into a pool, they come to the Insight display. Once you have all 3 tokens here, they all go back in the bag, and you mark that you have 1 recognition. So that's my first thing that I'm going to suggest. There's a Chasing the Strangers tick box in Carcosa, a Vengeance tick box in Forgotten Age. There should be a Recognition tick box somewhere on this sheet. And now what this is going to do, what gaining recognition does, that'll be on the next page, is as you get more recognition, you unlock more things. You're able to see the true nature of the world. This is a thing in Bloodborne with Insight too. And it's going to basically allow you to do optional hard mode scenarios, fight additional bosses. I'm not sure the full extent of it yet, because I've only played the first 2 scenarios off channel right now. And we haven't really gotten to interact with it beyond like one little text box. I really like the idea of anything that enables optional hard mode stuff. However, I do want to point out the core mechanic of Insight is you take tests, you might get tokens, and if you get them, you put them over here. That's just player scaling. In a way, you can look at Insight and Recognition as a way of positive player scaling or negative player scaling, because you get more insight, and that means you get to see more stuff in the campaign that's going to be harder stuff as well. So sort of might be argued as hurting higher player groups, and that might be the intention. I don't know if it's meant to be affected by player size so much, but it definitely is, because a 4-player group just takes twice as many tests as a 2-player group. But I do want to point out that's a thing, just in case it's not necessarily the intent. I'm pretty sure it is. It would be hard for it not to be. There's also the Hunters of Yharnam encounter set. This is a group of enemies where once you kill them, they permanently leave the campaign. You don't put them in the next time you use the set. And then when you resolve the scenario, you get to look at the spoil set of cards and permanently add those to your deck if you so choose from the ones that you killed. Swarming makes a return, Alert makes a return, and a Barricade also makes a return, but the reason it's not listed here is when you come over to scenarios, you'll see that each scenario might actually have slightly different barricade rules. In this case, you can see that barricades cancel enemy movement and remove 1 barricade from between the locations, and that just like makes sense, and I like that it's bolding what's not staying the same. I'm assuming that this does change from scenario to scenario. If it doesn't, then this could definitely be at the front, but it's perfectly fine to have it with each scenario that uses barricades instead as well. And I will be playtesting this on standard, as that's the difficulty I played the most, so playtesting on anything else means that I have less frame of reference for what I'm comparing it to. Now, going into this, the first criticism I've got, you have a sleep, you're going to read one of these based on who you are. There are 2 different criticisms here. First, these really should be alphabetized so that when you read through them to see if your character's there, it's easy to do the double check. Right now, there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason. It's not by class or alphabetization or anything, it's just sort of random. So having it be alphabetized would be just like a really nice thing to make it easier for the players to be sure they didn't miss themselves. Much more importantly though, at the very end it says record which dream you got. Just put that up here. Put that up here so they don't read all of this, get to the end, and either A, skip this by accident and just go straight to intro 1, or have to go back and remember what dreams they read. It's just a bit of a hassle that the players can avoid if you move that text to the start. Anyway, both of my characters, Diana Stanley and Skids O'Toole, dream of adventure. Reading through intro 1, we can either go to intro 2 by trusting them, or intro 3 by saying, I don't think you should give us someone else's blood, and then one way or another, that doctor's given us someone else's blood. I always like being naive on my first playthrough. I'm going to be taking a cultist token. And I'll put any tokens I add to my bag over here off to the side. Gathering doesn't need to be here anymore, point's been proven. And then coming over to scenario 1, the hunt begins. The first thing we do is we find the guidance card, and everyone gets to pick 1 to permanently add to their decks. We also get to just start with it and play for scenario 1 only. I've organized these by what I've played. I have never played Madman's Knowledge. Today I'll be playing Soul Cleaver and Lumen Flower Keepsake, and I've seen the other 3 played at my table, so I'm going to talk about them first because I have the most information about them. The Art of Quickening feels undertuned. It's a 3-cost asset, commits for a question mark and a foot. It gives you +1 foot and -2 health. It takes up an arcane asset. And then when you succeed at a foot test by 3 or more, quick thinking, which is nice. Now, my opinion on the Art of Quickening is that it's very severely undertuned. We were running it on Ursula off the channel. -2 health is just like a huge cost. There's a lot of physical damage in the scenarios that we've seen, at least the first two. So taking -2 health on like a 6 or 7 health character is basically impossible. You have to be playing like an 8 or 9 health rogue. The only 9 health rogue is Tony, he doesn't need the foot. So like, it's a fairly limited pool of characters that are really looking at this. It feels like the health malice is just unnecessary. Succeeding by 3 or more doesn't actually happen that much, even with the +1 foot bump. Like, essentially, if you would pass by 2 or more and trigger your cigarette case and your pickpocketings, you would trigger this effect if you had this as well, because you would be 1 higher. So it's not impossible to trigger this stuff, but the health malice just feels really unnecessary. Like, the card would just be fine without it. Going over to Hunting Pistol, my opinion on this card's very, very skewed because I've been playing Daniela, and I took Hunting Pistol, and I started with In the Thick of It Jessica Hyde. It's a 4-cost hand asset, commits for fist foot. It takes up 1 hand slot, it has 1 ammo, but you get an ammo at every start of turn. It doesn't stack up, it's just 1 in the replenish mechanic. You can spend the ammo to fight at +2 for 2 damage, or before you draw the token, you can take a damage and the attack deals an additional damage if successful, so you're fighting at +2 for 3 at the cost of 1 damage. And when you have 5 base fists because you're Daniela, and you also have another one from Jessica, and Jessica's just healing the damage every turn, Hunting Pistol's a little bit busted. I think that's okay. I think I have like every possible synergy for this card. So I think the fact that it's really, really good in Daniela means it's probably where it should be. I just need to say that it's insane in Daniela, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but it completely warps my ability to give feedback on the card. I really, really like Gatekeeper Messengers. I think it's very good that one of the cards in here is just generically good and doesn't need any specific playstyle for. This is very similar to At a Crossroads, the new Survivor Dilemma that draws 3 at the cost of an action. You're going to reveal the top 3 of your deck, and I'll just like demonstrate how this would play out if we had drawn it like turn 1. We'd flip the top 3 of our deck. 1 goes to our hand, 1 gets discarded, 1 attaches to this, and this attaches to my location. Skids can't actually use this, but anyone else at his location as a lightning bolt can draw this card, at which point now that Gatekeepers are empty, they shuffle back into the deck. It's a very, very cool card. Like, it's got a lot of text, it's kind of convoluted, that's all true. But honestly, playing with it's pretty simple once you like know what it does. It just takes you a read or 2 to finally get used to it. But on the whole, I've been consistently of the opinion that Gatekeeper Messengers is just like a generically good card that I'd be glad to put in any deck, and I think one of these relics does need to do that. Living Flower Keepsake is great because it's a wonderful mystic item that makes Cyclopean Hammer harder to run. It gives you +1 head and a hand slot. It's only cost 2, it commits for 1 head. And the actual craziest part of this is as reaction, Warded Protection, which is pretty good, especially in Diana. The fact that I'm playing Parallel Skids means I don't have access to Machete anymore. Luckily, I have access to the Soul Cleaver, which is Mega Machete. It's a 4 cost that commits for a fist and a question mark, takes up 1 hand asset. I get to fight at +1 for 2 forever. As far as I'm concerned, that really feels like all the text on the card. I think basically every character has something they want in their second hand asset, and as well a double action for 3 damage. Like, that's not even a better rate than you're getting. I honestly think you could afford to boost this up to a double action for 4 damage. Just like put it in line with Sledgehammer. Because the crazy part about this card is just that it's Machete outside of blue, right? That's the thing it's doing that feels really strong to me. I think if this actually dealt +3 damage instead of +1, people would consider using the second part. But right now, at least me and my table, we all looked at this and we're like, so that's just super Machete, right? And we're not using the Sledgehammer part. Like at the start of a scenario, if this is all you have, it might be right sometimes. It feels very underwhelming. Madman's Knowledge is the last one, the one I haven't seen and won't be seeing. It has uses 0 charges, and every time you draw an insight token, you're going to place a resource on this as a charge, and then you can spend up to 3 charges, draw that many cards. It's a little bit reminiscent of Decorated Skull from, what's it called? Forgotten Age. But in addition, it has a passive effect that's very good, +1 book, -1 sanity. Accessory slots are just generally very valuable. Rogues, Survivor, Seeker, doesn't matter what book using class you might be looking at, they've got really good accessory slots. So if you triggered this insight effect a lot, if you got like multiple deep knowledges consistently with this, it would be a crazy card. But in our experience, I think no one would have triggered this even twice in any given scenario. I think on the whole, it's basically just next slot, get a book, which is okay, but it feels a little bit underwhelming compared to the power of these others. Well, maybe not Quickening, but these other 4 do feel like they're notably above Quickening and Madman's Knowledge. Anyway, we'll be taking these 2, and the other 4 are going to leave the game forever. But I will group them up over here instead of deleting them in case I inevitably lose this stuff. And in scenario 1, they'll both be starting end play, which is very, very nice for both of us. Then we do hunt 2, then we do hunt 3, then we do setup. And in setup, we're instructed to get the following sets, do all this stuff. Everything it's basically telling us to do is already done by the basic TTS tabletop setup. So that's nice, and that's resolution, so we're done. Now, let's talk on a couple of things that immediately happened here that can be given feedback on immediately. As always, it just takes stuff out of this ahead of time. It's just how I work. I don't like having the box where I don't know how much to set aside. It makes it easier to forget if you're doing something wrong, so I like having them out of the box. That's not a criticism of this campaign, I just always do this every single time I play. Now, we're going to choose a random axe, and there are 2 axes. I'll take one of them at random. I guess the left one is what we're really playing with. Now, when you randomly choose your axe from that card, the difference is what's over here and what's on this Act 3. Gilbert, Fine, and Viola need different things remembered to get them safe. Gilbert needs a tincture of ether, Viola needs bandages. Now, at this location down here, let's randomize and throw one away. We can see that the first 4 we had gave us bandages. This other one that we're not getting gives us tincture of ether. Now, you might be very confused by that, and like, doesn't that mean you randomly can't finish Act 2 since you need to heal that person to finish Act 2? No, later in Act 2, when we get to Act 3, we're gonna put locations up here, and both of those items will be here. You can get them with lightning bolts, and you wanna go to those locations because they're victory locations. And these are not lightning bolts. These are actually reasonably difficult tests that you can easily fail, and at the point in time when you can do them, have a 50% chance of not mattering at all. This just needs a full redesign, in my opinion. I don't think this feels bad. I honestly think this just is bad. It feels like some artifact of a previous version that wasn't quite hammered out. Because a 50% chance of doing nothing for a test and a 50% chance of skipping Act 3 by not going to a victory location by taking a test earlier instead of doing a lightning bolt at the victory location. Like, it just doesn't feel good no matter what. And as your first time playthrough, it's deeply confusing because you can flip one of these and it never gets referenced by the scenario. So of course you think you've done something wrong, but you just haven't. It's just how the scenario is built right now. In addition, while we're on the topic of these guys, you'll notice that both of them, their last sentence in paragraph 1, proceed to Act 4A, a fellow outsider. That's Act 3A. That's just a typo. That should be fixed. Anyway, which one did I say? The one on the left? Sure, why not? Now, is there anything else to give feedback on immediately? You'll notice you start with a 15-card encounter deck. I would suggest probably finding another card or 2 to add to this. I know we're going to add a lot more in Act 2, but if you have like a 4-player party, you cycle this whole deck in 4 turns. And that, well, let's open the deck and talk about it. There are 3 copies of Uncontrolled Fire that will burn your whole team alive pretty fast. So if somebody like plays this in a 4-person party and no one's particularly good at foot, they probably just get murdered very immediately. I would think you either want more encounter cards in the set. You could also fix that maybe by just like limiting this to only being burned once, take 1 damage, max once per round, that sort of thing. But a 15-card deck is just notably small, and I feel the need to point it out. Anyways, moving on to the agenda, Agenda 1A, the hunt begins. For the purpose of determining where hunter enemies move during the enemy phase, beast enemies move as if blood-drunk enemies are investigators, and then vice versa, and then after the movement step and the damage step, same thing. The one thing I had to note here is that beast and blood-drunk are ordered one way in movement and another way in damage. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I can't see it myself. If there is, then ignore this, but otherwise I would like those to be ordered the same just so that players can easily remember which order it goes in. Instead of who goes first, all right, and then the other one fights first, okay. And then we have Act 1A, Moonlit Revival. We need to go to the courtyard, spend 4 clues, easy peasy. Of course, this is a victory location, so going to the courtyard will be at the cost of something. We don't want to go there now because Scourge Beast is there, he's chilling. He'll break this barricade for us over the hunter phase, and then we can go down and fight him. Our starting location is the first floor sick room, 3 shroud, 4 clues, and as a lightning bolt you can drop a doom on a card you control to heal 1 damage and horror from any card under your control, or to refresh the clues in case you've soft locked by killing barricades. And I think that's everything. I think we're ready to start playing. 26 minutes live before we finally even started the mulligan, but hey, we got there eventually. Don't need my hospital debts, no thank you. Don't need a weapon, I've got the machete. Definitely need Lonnie, definitely need Falstian, don't need this stuff. Take 3 new. Anyway, moving over to Diana, we should probably turn off hand hiding. So like I was saying, oh, that's very nice. I'm glad to see Dragon Pull. Hallowed Mirror doesn't need to be here. Rosary probably stays. Backpack doesn't stay here if I have Rosary and Dragon Pull already. You probably keep the emergency cash. You need cancels. Oh god, what do I actually hold? Do you toss Rosary? And emergency cash? Like, we have another cash, we have stand-togethers. We just need to draw our cancels so badly that I think I do toss everything but Dragon Pole, even though they were good cards. Yeah, having a second Rosary would have been very bad. Although I would really like that emergency cash right about now, but hey, it happens. And our head is starting at 2 thanks to this Lumen Flower. So, first turn, what are we doing? We're playing Lonnie, we're playing Faustian Bargain. Now, I'm down to 1 resource, but I'm also done playing cards all scenario, basically. I think I might be giving this money over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I definitely give at least 3 of it over so they can play all the assets eventually, and then I give 2 back to myself. And then I'm going to draw a card last action. Going down has no benefit. We want him to break the barricade first. Scrounge for supplies, we can get something back. Act of Desperation, I don't think I'll be throwing the Saw Cleaver. I think I might want that one a little bit. Okay, I'm back. I've been spending a long time going in circles talking about Skids math. I think unless you specifically need money, it's best to just gamble base 3 to 1. Cool, I lost a resource. It's fine. On the whole, that tends to make a lot of money, and I don't want to commit manual decks, because then I'm committing manual decks, and I'm only up 3 if I go like manual decks at 2, or if I'm using manual decks for only 1 money. Like, it feels a little bit weird. I think I'm fine just playing as Jank Jenny for the time being. Now, we don't need to fight the wolf. Skids has that handled. We've got the money. Holy Rosary, Clairvoyance. That's going to be 6 resources. And we need cancels. I forgot to put Dark Insight in my opening hands. So we get this now. And I'm going to draw a card as well. I didn't shuffle. Backpack is unhelpful. It is admittedly much better than Overzealous. So that's our turn 1. Hunter Phase. He breaks the barricade, but he doesn't get in. Upkeep. Thompson is unnecessary. We've got a starting weapon. Hallowed Mirror is neat. 1 of 8 Doom. Let's shuffle this. Let's see what we hit. Odds are good that we're on fire. Ashen Affliction. This is a card that made one of our players very unhappy in our first playthrough. Because it turns out there are a lot of foot-based treacheries in the game, and a lot of times you might want to dodge a guy. And a lot of rogues just like walk around with 4 foot and generally feel kind of safe to foot stuff. And instead, our Bob Jenkins, who had ways of increasing his foot, just is never able to take a foot test and milled his deck constantly. I will say, however, this is basically temporary 1 health loss minus 1 foot. Milling your cards actually just doesn't do anything. That's fake news. Milling your cards is not an effect. So I think while this can feel bad, I don't think it's actually overtuned. I will note that there are disproportionately more foot tests, making this feel a little bit more punishing for players than maybe it actually is. Anyway, you can test 3 head to get rid of it. That's part of why Diana's in the campaign. And Slake the Thirst. This is a lot like Seeing Shadows from the Pallid Mask. You can try to maintain your composure, and then forced at the end of your turn, if you didn't do that, deal 1/1 to someone next to you, or if you can't, then either take 2 damage or 2 horror yourself. And once it eventually goes off, you discard it, you stop having to do that stuff. Now on Skids, I don't need to dodge, I think I can just walk down and start swinging. Seems solid. I'm swinging at what, 4, 5, 5 to 3? I'd really like 1 more on that number, man. Oh, I should probably put in my trauma numbers, right? In the thick of it's 2 damage on Skids, it's 2 damage on Diana, and Arcane Research is 2 horror on Diana. She's starting 5-5, Skids is starting 6-6. We don't really need clues from our starting location at all. You only need 4 clues to advance. I think that many clues are on the victory location. So I'm thinking that maybe I just want to, like, draw cards on Diana and then walk down after Skids. But Skids would still need to go first, so we're going to walk down, we're going to swing twice at up 2, we're going to see if this guy's dead. He's probably not. Wait a second, we're not swinging twice against him. This is like our 1 chance to actually use the Salt Cleaver ability and have it feel good. The one thing this really does is it makes you feel better against Scourge Beast. I'm going to swing it up 3, kill my other hand asset that I don't have yet. The fact that I don't have a second hand asset is a big part of why this currently feels good. Because it is both actions. I still fail on -4, I still fail on auto fail, but he's dead. Gonna be honest, like, would I have just killed him the second swing anyway? Yeah. You're trying, Salt Cleaver. I appreciate that you're thematically appropriate at the very least. Diana's gonna walk down, we should reveal this location. As we found out earlier, you get a Tincture of Ether here, 4 Shroud, 4 book test to do so. We aren't doing that test. 4 clues and victory 1. Now, investigating with Clairvoyance actually feels a little bit trash on account of the fact that I can't do it. I'm gonna draw a card looking for cancels. Admittedly, I am investigating at 3, I forgot Lumen Flower. Gonna draw again. I can just discard this backpack, I don't need anything. Dodge is nice, would have preferred to draw it before I killed the wolf though. I was specifically talking about drawing for dodge too. Slake the Thirst goes off, can I cancel it? I'm not an enemy, unfortunately. So no. take your 1/1, buddy. It's actually better to take the damage directly. That way, things that have prey lowest health will go towards him. This backpack is super unnecessary. We have everything it would look for already. And upkeep over here on Skids. Lucky is nice to see, I guess. 2 of 8 Doom and Evil cards. Blood Drunk. I don't have the kind of fist to use this. You get -2 fist and deal +1 damage during fight actions. At the end of the turn, you must test 3 head. If you succeed, discard Blood Drunk. So on some characters that have bad head and high fist, they can consider trying to keep this in play for the bonus damage. But like realistically, no one has high enough fist to deal with this. This is just a problem. Also, as the force text, if you deal damage to an enemy, you may only fight, evade, or move during your next turn. I'm not entirely sure if forced text on a card that is not in the game has an effect. Like if I remove this, does it still go off? I'm not sure. That's just a rules question I have. It's not the card being badly written, it's just a rules question that I've never had to answer before. Anyway, over here we have Slake the Thirst again. Sorry about that, Skids. Oh, wait a second. We're not actually sorry about that. We need to put things in the basement. I play Dark Insight, which unfortunately will cost me 1 because I gain 1 back and I'll draw a card. And we'll see what we're slaking the thirst into. Cool, now we're on fire. Thanks, Diana. Really, really improved the situation. But she does have 4 head now, which is a much better number. Would really have liked to see a deny existence for the horror on Slake. That would have been an easy solution to it. Skids can't help with this. Like, he's not getting these clues. He can evade this, though, at 4-3. I'm really up 3 because of Lucky. So I'm going to manual dex this as well, actually. I'm going to draw a card. I think I forgot to gamble on Skids last turn. I know I did. I was so hyped about Saw Cleaver. We're just going to do a 3-1 now. Cool. And now in the next turn, we can gamble properly. Manual dex on this check at 6-3 seems pretty solid. 0, draw a card, put out the fire. I should probably actually read this for you. I think I just like skipped over it. Uncontrolled fire attaches to your location. Anyone who ends their turn in this location or connecting location takes 1 damage. Test 3 foot to discard uncontrolled fire. I think I talked about this earlier at the start. I was specifically mentioning this with regard to small deck size. But yeah, without somebody like Skids to fix it, it could potentially be a very large problem. I think I keep drawing. I think I just like can't break this without well connected. At the end of my turn, I test 3 head. There's like no guts, no promise of power, so I'm just testing 3 head. Was never passing that. Now, over here, I'm still not really able to investigate. I play Emergency Cash to gain money. I draw a card. Alright, I've got more things that could theoretically cancel eventually. I can't play Dragon Pool. I have the Lumen Flower. I'm just gonna have to throw this away, I think. Put it in my basement so I can equip the Dragon Pool. Well, I guess, like, I don't need the Dragon Pool, right? Skids is doing the fighting. I'll throw it away eventually, but I don't need to do it with any degree of rush. Like, I just need to avoid milling cards. I guess I have lots to mill that I don't care about, huh? These probably are never going in play. At least Holy Rosary isn't. I know I need this Rite of Seeking eventually. I'm just gonna play it now. And then we're gonna go into Upkeep. Second Dragon Pull, huh? It's that kind of day? I actually don't know. Are story assets level 0 cards? For today, I'll be playing like they are. But I don't know for sure if they are. Anyway, we discard the Thompson because we don't need it. 3 of 8 Doom, making terrible time, but we'll get something done eventually. Oh, I forgot I had Ashen Affliction when I was doing that stuff last turn. Well, now I have double Ashen Affliction. Skids is no longer a foot-based character unless Diana can help him out. I can't ward you, I can't do anything else for you, it's all selfish at level 0. I just have to cancel this, it doesn't even matter what it is. I don't have Deny, so normally I'd be considering letting it pass to deny it, but I literally can't even do that. I can let this go and then play Fool Me Once on it, knowing that we're going to draw another one relatively soon. I think that makes sense. So, sure. Don't you do it. Guts. My weakness was overzealous and it just got discarded by a squid. Yeah. Cool. Also, I pass, which is actually not helpful, but hey, you discarded overzealous, so I'll take it. Oh, man. Oh, yes. I forgot to mention this. Skids is the lead investigator because he's our fighter. What is the weakness in our parallel, Skids? It is Mob Enforcer, and it was at the top of the deck. Well, glad I have to shuffle it now, I guess. We're testing 4-3. It's not even good. I swear, we're going to make all this tempo up later. It's going to be great. Like, this is miserable. Oh, there's not actually a... I might just leave. I might just go to the other location because I know it's a 2-shroud. I was thinking Diana would be able to cancel something relatively soon, but I got greedy for Fool Me Once. I should have just warded it. But I mean, then Overzealous would be my next draw, right? Like, oh, gross. Results Oriented says that greed was definitely correct, but man, this is not a good situation I find myself in. Draw a card. Stand together. Draw a card. Alright, Promise of Power at least lets me start trying to do stuff. Upkeep phase will be discarding one of our Dragon Pools. Hey, Brother Xavier, I actually have the money for you somehow. Second Holy Rosary is not happening. Oh, did I not even take Skids' turn? It's because he doesn't have one. It's because he doesn't get to do anything. I play Heavy Furs. I gamble up 2. I gain 2 resources. If I walk away, there are no enemies in the set because we haven't shuffled yet. I go here. You're on your own, Diana. Make it happen. And that's it for us. Upkeep phase. We are just barely good on hand size here. 4 of 8 Doom, evil cards. This is a huge tax. By the way, I should probably reveal this location. Hospital Courtyard, 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. Action to search the top side of your deck for an item or supply and draw it. Limit once per investigator. Dreadful Effigy is a really scary card. It's either Ancient Evils or you spend, in this case, 4 resources to discard it. Which, like, Parallel Skids has handled, I guess. He doesn't actually need Well Connected. Anyway, over here on Diana's evil card, I'd rather they didn't have Pray You. You're only at 1, 2, 3, 4 to 3, and I'm not committing for this. Cool, you don't have Pray You. I will note that the bag does feel a little bit soft. The skull is not bad at all at the start, like it's just a 0, which is amazing, and then it's never that bad. -2 with penalties is not a huge deal. I think it might be intended to be a bit soft. I don't feel like it's a surprise that it's a bit soft. Now, over here, I'm playing Brother Xavier immediately. I should have just warded that card even though it did nothing. I was thinking because I can play Brother Xavier, it's fine. But that's not really true. To go fast, I'm going to use Promise of Power offensively and Rite of Seeking. And that puts us 10 to 4. No, 9 to 4. Well, we still beat that, actually. I was hoping to get a symbol so that I could use Eldritch Inspiration on it. Because the bag is so soft, I think I just Rite of Seeking again. Because it has a very good chance of passing. Up 2. Up 3? Cool, let me go take this out of the bag. Now, when you take stuff out of the bag, for some reason Tabletop Sim won't let you drop it onto this, so I'm just dropping it next to this, and whenever I get to 3, I'll throw them all back in and mark recognition somewhere. I will take both clues. Silly me, thinking that I was unable to do it with my 4 to 4. Alright, that was great. Now, over here, Skids can't really do anything. He can investigate up 1. That's a thing he can do. I'm going to test watch this on gambling. I'm going to gamble for 1. And I'm going to watch this for 3, making my total bet 4 at 4 to 1. And if I fail, I can lucky. But we didn't. So I'll make my 4 back and then 4 more. This has a cost to leave. It's not something I need to do now. It just happens eventually. I am going to draw a card. Oh, you're still on the top, I see. What if I gave you $4 to fuck off? Wait, I'm a fighter. Wait a second, I'm a fighter. I am a fighter with nothing to do. What if I didn't do that? What if instead we just killed the guy? Double action, 2, 3, 6 to 4. Ugh, I got lucky. 4 to 4, I'm blood drunk. I'm pretty sure I forgot to test this last time. It doesn't matter, I would have failed. There's no additional penalty on that one, we're good. I can't kill this man. I know I'm the fighter, but I'm gonna go ahead and pay him $4 to go away because I can't fight him. Which is a little bit embarrassing. We haven't found Well Connected or Hard Knocks yet, so we're gonna keep drawing for this. That's not the card I just said. Hey, there we go. Now we're in a better spot. Anyway, that's it for us. Upkeep, head test. We put a second barricade here. We're not going that way. Now we need to discard stuff. Theoretically, we could play this Mulzer and Contraband, and then the Mulzer is objectively worse Soul Cleaver, so let's not and say we did. Then over here in our upkeep phase, read the signs. Doesn't actually do anything now, but it will later. 5 of 8 Doom. We need to deal with this pile. Oh no. Oh no. Skids. Skids, you gotta stop. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been playing wrong. The first Ashen Affliction discarded 1 card, then this discarded 2 cards, and then the next one discarded 2 cards too. It doesn't actually matter, thanks for getting rid of my hospital deaths, by the way. If I played correctly, I probably would have killed that mob enforcer I got. But it's just so results-oriented, you can't try to backtrack and fix it all. We're just doing our best now. Okay, so seriously? I legitimately do think that you probably can just remove the discard the top card of your deck whenever another card in your supply area thing. Because from a game theory perspective, that really is just like deal 0.05 horror. It doesn't actually do anything. But what it does do is result in constant misplays like this, because in the previous 2 runs of this I've seen, that happened every time too. Anyways, that's me being bad at the game. What do we get? We get Slake the Thirst again, still no deny, still no deny. Is it to enter or leave? It's an additional cost to leave. We're gonna double walk over here and spend all 4 of our clues to progress the act. That's our first 2 actions. Progressing the act entails losing all of our clues, not that we have any, removing all of the old stuff from the map, and then placing down a lot of new stuff. It's all right here, but let's see if we get the same glitch I've been seeing. Yeah, the first glitch, there's actually 2, is that this is not a Soul Cleaver. Coming up to the bag, you can see we have City Center Plaza. We also just have a blank thing. The blank thing is a glitch. I don't know what happens when I take it out. It might be related to that problem we're seeing. This is supposed to be there, that Soul Cleaver isn't supposed to be real. That was my only copy of Soul Cleaver. Ripped it off of Skids' board, 1 second. All right, so I'm taking my Soul Cleaver back as Skids, put this down. The second glitch is that this location attaches to this cross. The cross does not attach to red square though. So I believe this one-way marker is placed incorrectly. Now I can Slake this Thirst or I can just hit Skids. Hitting Skids seems perfectly fine. I'm not gonna do that, but I will end my turn here because it is to my benefit to hit Skids. We're not done yet though. I forgot one more thing. We shuffle in a lot of cards. It's this entire stack. Now, doing this with 5 cards less is a little bit spooky because there are a lot of enemies in here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 enemies in the 17 card deck. There's gonna be some fighting from here on out. Diana has to play her Lumen Flower immediately to play Dragon Pole, doesn't she? Like, theoretically, she really does want to keep this in play for the plus head and make Skids fight, but Skids is done fighting. But I can't play Dragon Pole now. I need to not discard that. I draw a card when I need to put these back because I controlled Z. Bandolier fixes my problem. I mean, it's more setup heavy. We're already having terrible tempo, but I mean, it's possible. Oh, this goes off, and I play Fool Me Once. So I hit Skids for 1/1. 1 goes on Lonnie, 1 goes on the coat. I tap Lonnie, spend a resource, get rid of 1/1 on these guys. And now, what is the exact effect this has? I leave this stuff here, and when someone draws a copy of this, I discard Fool Me Once and cancel that card's revelation effect. And that'll discard this too, because it's no longer got the thing it was attached to. Cool. Now, over here on Skids and Encounter Card Land, what is Skids doing today? He's drawing a card. He plays Hard Knocks. He's going to gamble with Quick Thinking and Nimble. Actually, not Nimble. I don't need to move. But On the Land. On the Land gives me 3, 4. I'm going to bet the full 3, putting me at 7-3. I'm up 4, basically. Auto fail, come at me. Cool. I get an action back. These go on the discard pile. I'm about to cycle my deck, which is why I'm so concerned about getting rid of them. I gain 3, and then I gain 3 more. I play Well Connected, because of course I do. I'm going to attempt to test Ashen Affliction with Well Connected, because the bag is pretty soft. That is only 3-3. It's not good. But hey. Yeah, get out of here. Anyway, upkeep phase. We need to test head 3 twice. Was this the end of my turn, actually? Yes, before I get Well Connected back. That's still a fail, buddy. Oh, gross. We have to put an actual meaningful barricade down. We're going to do it here. We're going to go around like this. Is that right, actually? We don't really need clues. I think we put it up and we just like stifle through. Also, these were random locations. Let's randomize them now. Something I will mention because it's good. All these locations are victory 1. There's no risk of randomly losing victory, so that's just really, really nice. Official campaigns took so long to start getting that right, and I'm glad to see it's being done correctly here. And now we're done with all of that. We're on to Act 2. We just need to spend 6 clues in the square. All right, coming back to where we were, upkeep phase over here on Diana. Second, Read the Signs. 6 of 8 Doom. Terrible pace so far for us. They've got Blood-Crazed Hunting Hounds. It's swarming 1, its hunter, its fight is equal to the number of hounds at its location. So it's currently a 2-1-3. Over here, thankfully we didn't get more hounds, we got the Hunting Party. These guys are also blood drunk. Hunter Swarming 1, they're 3-1-3. So they're very close. However, they have the 4 stacks. If Hunting Party attacks you, resolve the Hunter keyword on another blood drunk enemy in play. So these guys go real fast. I'm not quite sure. I would think that Hunting Party's ability, since it says you, after Hunting Party attacks you, I'm not the beast enemy they might be fighting with, so it wouldn't trigger there. Okay, so coming over to Skids, I need to kill this. I'm currently 4-5-2. That's just good enough, I swing at that. Up 1, down 1, fail. I didn't even know there were curses in the back. Just forgot about that. Oh, wait. I'm adding the curses back. I definitely failed my first swing just now, but my play is just wrong. I forgot I'm double blood drunk, which really warps my perspective of the game, because I'm currently swinging at 1. You know, I can backstab the piss out of somebody. This hits for 5 right now. That's worth thinking about. Like, it would be a waste on any of this, but that's one hell of a backstab. Can Diana fast play when an enemy attacks an investigator at your location, cancel that attack, so she would still get hit for 1? That's not a big deal. But I have to play Bandolier twice is the issue. Or I have to play action twice, 1 for Bandolier. I don't have the money for Dragon Pole even. Gross. Couldn't ward anything, because, well, there's no non-enemy cards. There's nothing to ward. This is bad. I think this is statistically unlikely and a very devastating. I will say that for most Scenario 1 fighters, -1 fist is still devastating. Like, I get that you're trying to balance out the +1 fight, or +1 damage, because that's really good. But also, like, I think basically every fighter starts failing through their job with these. If I only had 1, I'd still be swinging at 4-2, I guess. I am overvaluing how bad they are, because I'm getting wrecked by 2 of them. If I gamble with Watch This and break 10, then I can use Well Connected. It's so bad. I need to make money. I'm gonna bet 3 on Watch This, 1 on the test. That puts me 4-3. I have lucky if I get a bad token. 0, 1. Cool. I wish I hadn't discarded Reashrad, but here we are. I think we did that both times. This guy is not dead. I wasn't attacking. I am gaining 4 resources back and then 4 more. I'm going to do with a double action exhaust attack here because it's more accurate, putting me at 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 2-2. We're okay. I hard knocks for 3 to be up 3. If I get a -4, okay, we're good. He's dead. He's seriously overkilled. I dealt 5 to him. And then this guy needs to die. He's at 3-1. I need to hit him with the axe. It's fine. We well connected. We're at 6-2, 4-3. The first hard knocks does nothing because it turns off a bit of well connected, right? I don't think so. I think once I use well connected, it's just active. I'm gonna assume it works that way. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Anyway, hard knocks is gonna put me up to +3. Actually, only +2. And if I get a token worse than +2 or -2, now I'm up 3. Cool. Remove an insight. Actually, put both insights back. We're gonna write down 1 recognition. I might prefer it if it were named Madness and Insight as opposed to Insight and Recognition. Since Insight is the little number you have that's ticking up that shows you what the world is in Bloodborne. Whereas Recognition, like, yeah, you are recognizing what the world really is, but it's not really a term that's used. Whereas Madness, Madman's knowledge and stuff like that, that's what you use to gain insight. I might prefer it if it were named that way. Minor nitpick thing. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, I used my second action and killed these guys. Because Skids can apparently pay enough money to pass with Blood Drunk at -4, which is very impressive. Anyway, we're testing up 3 twice. No guts, no promise of power. Give me positive tokens or I'll keep them. Cool, I'll keep them. Now, over here on Diana, we really need money. We are devastatingly broke. Nothing has gone right. Deny helps. We're gonna play a Bandolier, because we need to do that too. I don't really need these read the signs, I just need to draw. Bandolier wasn't it, Chief. Upkeep phase. Well, this is a pretty weak, terrible secret. I can either take 1 horror or discard this. Yeah, I think I'll take the horror. Bandolier is out, and alright, cool. That was not a bad upkeep at all. Especially if you're drawing your signature weakness. 7 of 8 Doom, evil cards. Can't actually do this. View Halou feels pretty bad if you're stuck with an Ashen Affliction. That's one of the interactions that made it feel so unpleasant in our first run. Because now, though I'd normally be good at this, I'm probably getting an enemy. I can well connected. I'm going to Lightning Bolt. I'm going to gamble with Cunning. I'm going to bet 2. Cunning puts me up a little bit. It puts me up 3. Just don't get a -4, man. It's so easy. Good. Go back to 9. Go up to 11. Tap well connected on this because I really don't want to draw an enemy. Is that true? I mean, yeah, the blood. So, like, the issue is, like, if I'm getting rid of Blood Drunk, no one else can test this for me. I have to do the 3-head test, which is a very big problem because I keep having to use well connected to fight instead. Like, if I use well connected on this and I just don't. I just test it 3 to 3. If I can use lucky to pass, I do it. That's really good. Not only is that a pass, get out of here. It means I get a card back from my discard. Reashrod. Actually, watch this. I need the money. Then over here, holy shit, thank you. I play Ward of Protection. I stay the same on money because my ability, I draw a card. This goes in the basement, and you get out. And now my head, oh no, they're resetting again. If anyone has a fix for this, please tell me. I should probably just like check and see if there's an updated tabletop sim build yet, so hopefully this has gone away. Now, on our turns, what are we doing? We're trying to... I don't actually need these clues. On Diana, I walk to the next location. This goes off, we spend 4 resources. Unfortunately, on Skids, I could just make an Ancient Evils. It is Ancient Evils, right? Oh, it's not Ancient Evils. It doesn't advance. I don't pay 4 resources then. I thought that was Ancient Evils. Anyway, what's this location? 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. If you succeed too hard, put a Doom on the agenda. Boy howdy, am I ready to pay that price. I use Clairvoyance. I test at 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2. Oh, fuck off. I use Clairvoyance and I cry. Cool, that's actually not even putting Doom on the agenda. If it did, though, it wouldn't matter. That's Daniela. Skids will definitely catch up to her. The rest of it's not as obvious. I've already gambled, so I can't use Watch This. Am I just drawing, looking for money? Feels weird. Faustian Bargain, statistically, I think, helps me out here. I tap well connected on the first Blood Trunk. We're looking at base 2 to 3. Well connected gives me 3. I'm up 2. Damn you, Faustian Bargain. Damn you, Faustian Bargain! It's fine. Gotta get the curse out eventually. Test the other one. It goes away. Cool. That wasn't quite how it was supposed to go. That wasn't the plan, but I guess it's fine. Upkeep phase. Quick thinking's great. Stand together. I don't think I have the money for Read the Signs, but counterpoint, I don't think I have the money for a lot of things. I'm not going to play 2 Read the Signs, but like I'm out of clue finding power is the problem. We don't need Hallowed Mirror, and if we do, we'll just die instead. How about that? Top of the round, the agenda advances. We search the encounter deck and discard pile for Blood Drunk enemies, spawn 1 engage with the lead investigator instead of its usual spawn conditions, and any other at the furthest location from all investigators. I'm going to take the ones in the deck to try to get less enemies. The one that'll spawn with us will be the Elderly Huntsman, because he's easy to deal with if he's at our location. He'll spawn with Skids. And the one that'll spawn very, very far away from me, it's going to be a hunting party, because I don't want to deal with them. Now, Skids gets this guy spawns opposite side of the map up here, and he'll get 1 card as Swarming. Nothing else. New agenda, 6 Doom, a threshold, 1 left behind it. Same text as the old one, I think. Determine movement, enemies move, clear barricades. Determine movement, enemies move, clear barricades. We're good, same text. Gleeful Atrocities attaches to my location. If you try to leave, you test 3 foot, and when you fail, you cancel the effect of the move and get another Blood Drunk enemy. Bloodborne might be a game based on dodging and fighting enemies, so it makes sense the deck is so filled with enemies and foot tests, but man, is it a little bit rough. You were already going to fail that test, so I don't really care about that. Can I cancel it? Do I have Word? I have Lumaflower. I don't need to discard Lumaflower anymore, though. I have the Bandolier slot. Okay, that's just fine, it seems like. First action, stand together. We both gain resources. Second action, I'm going to test the Ashen Affliction over here. By the way, discard a card because you drew the Huntsman. He's in your threat area. I'm probably forgotten to do that a couple of times since. And I'm going to test this at up 3. I don't know why I did that. I'm testing Ashen Affliction, up 3. Okay, up 4, up 5. Thank you, Insight Tokens. I'd have failed without you. Anyway, in exchange for your service, you're going to have to leave the bag. And now this is gone. Do I need to play Dragon Pole? It doesn't impede me from playing anything else. I play the Dragon Pole. I guess I don't need to have it take up 2 hand slots. And that gives me an additional Arcane slot, which is actually kind of helpful for playing the next asset sooner. Now, over here on Skids, it's very important that I trigger an opportunity attack. Do I just, like, walk away? I try to walk away from him, and I test Foot. When I do, he hits me, and Diana plays Dodge, which costs 1, gives her 1, draws a card, and goes in her basement, putting me up to a much more respectable head number. I can dodge him again, just not this turn. We test Foot 3, we might actually get out. -2. This guy is going to Hunt. We're currently down here, he can go either way. They both suck. But this way seems a little bit more manageable because we can make him go down and give him the runaround. This card discards, and I get another Blood Drunk enemy out of the set. We've got Hounds. We've got Hunting Party. Hounds are just the easier enemy to deal with. That's our first action. Our number isn't as good as I would like it to be. When we swing at the Hounds, we're looking at 4, 5, 3-2. I really don't want to well-connected this. I can do watch this 4-2 and commit to using my lucky. Bet 3. That'll get the Hounds. Done. I don't need the lucky. That just passes. That was 4-2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -2, 4-2, dead. Put this on the bottom of my deck. I wasn't supposed to look at it. Guess it doesn't really matter. He's dead. Now this last guy does have 4 Fist. I could theoretically try to well connect at him. I'm not going to. I'm just going to try to trip up 3. That's fine. He's evaded. End of my turn. I'm Blood Drunk, well connected, up 2. Finally, I can fight again. It's been so hard. It's been so hard. These characters, like, aren't bad, but the way we've drawn these Mythos cards and just been unable to get Diana going, unable to get Skids at... Imagine doing okay as Skids with -4 Fist. Parallel Skids is a monster. Imagine if he had a real stat line. He would be literally one of the best investigators in the game if he had a 4 in any stat that fucking mattered. I'm sorry, Foot. I know you think you're a stat, but you really aren't. I can't win the game with you. I can win the game with every other stat, but Foot just doesn't do it. Anyway, we're done. We've both went, apparently. I don't remember Diana's turn. I'm going to assume I took it. It was like stand together, Dragon Pole, and draw, maybe? I'm going to assume I did this correctly. Oh, I got rid of Ash and Affliction. That's what it was. Stand together, Dragon Pole, Ash and Affliction. 1 of 6 Doom. This guy re-engages. Does he have any prey? No. His rules, by the way, he spawns in a connecting location normally. Elderly Huntsman cannot be moved from its spawn location. And if he is ready and an investigator ends their turn in a connecting location, he shoots them. Funnily enough, he won't shoot you if you're at his location. Anyway, the Sweet Stench, do I get to be prey? No, wait, nope, I only have 2 head. Everyone has prey Skids now. Completely fine by me. Scourge Beast. I'm attacking at 5-2, actually. It's not the worst. I'd definitely rather Skids handle it, but it's manageable. I'm gonna go first on Skids. Scourge Beast doesn't have any special text, right? Yeah, it's getting plus fight for the other beast at its location, but other than that, it's basically just 3/3/3. It's basically just, what is it called? Ravenous School? Anyway, we're swinging here. We're at 4, 5. I was raised by the school of hard knocks. 3-4, or sorry, up 3 instead of up 1. Let's only go up 2. We've got the lucky. It's been working well so far. Get out of here. No, not you. You come back. Then I use a big swing on Soul Cleaver over Daniela. I've never missed in my life. Why would this kill Brother Xavier? This puts me at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-3. Auto fail. Cool, he's dead too. I don't have a good gamble use this time, I don't think. So I'm just gonna gamble 3-1. Take 2 resources. Now, over here on Diana, we're moving up. We have... Oh, I forgot to hunt this guy. I think I'd have hunted him to where I just sent Diana. Sending him down wouldn't line up very well with the enemy Skids had. Sending him right lets Diana go handle him. And if either plan fails, then both of these result in getting hits no matter what I do. So I think that's where I would have moved him. There's no way to avoid somewhat retroactive decision making now. Anyway, our new location of Victory 1, 3 Shroud, 4 Clues. You get -1 to foot and brain test made on treachery cards at this location, and if you draw an insight token here, you automatically succeed on a treachery test. Now, I'm up 2, and that's been going great for Skids, but Skids has lucky, so it's actually... Oh. Cool. They're back in. That'll be 2 recognition. And these guys are dead. This is a Skids card. Yeah, you can have your mom's hospital debt back, Skids. Sorry about that. And this guy's dead. And then I just investigate with Rite of Seeking as my last action, like you do. Yeah, sure. I don't think I have anything in here that's actually good is the problem. You don't want to draw this. I'll pass, though. I'll take the pass. That's fine. And that's it for us. Upkeep phase. Mob Enforcer's back to rob us again. The downside of hyper consistency is that you're going to cycle your deck and see your weaknesses multiple times. 2 of 6 is Doom. Starting to feel sketchy about the time frame I'm on. Scourge Beast over here is fine. Bloodcrazed Hunting Hounds are actually perfectly fine. This is something Danielle... I keep calling Diana Danielle. I think I probably edited it out like 4 or 5 times by now. But I've done it constantly. I'm playing Daniela in Bloodborne with my table group, and it's really messing with my brain. I think it's double action and then parlay. I think that's just the whole turn. The double action is base 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. Gonna hard knock for 1 to beat the -4. He is dead. Okay, Soul Cleaver's feeling better than I gave it credit for. Like, if you're playing and you draw this after the other hands on item you've already played, it's pretty underwhelming. But if this is the first asset you get, it's actually just fine. Like, it's not even true though, right? Because the second hit would have just killed it. Like, it didn't do anything that turn. I'm gonna keep testing it every time I use it to see if it actually does stuff. And then I'm gonna pay this man $4 to kill him. I wish he removed from the game. I wish they didn't keep coming back for more money. It's brutal. It's very accurate, but it's brutal. Anyway, 1 up 2. Lost my money again. Over here, Dragon Pole up 3. Up 1. Easy enough. Kill him, put this on the bottom of the deck. I'm gonna Clairvoyance, because it just seems like the thing to do. Okay. Sure. Insight comes out again. We get the last 2 clues. And I believe we just keep on walking. Like, the Dragon Pole gives us the ability to be completely self-sufficient. We can Lightning Bolt spend clues if we need to now. I think the plan is just to go fully around and come back. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up. 4 Shroud, 2 clues, Victory 1. As an additional cost to investigate this action, you must test foot 3. If you fail, either draw the top card of the encounter deck or immediately move to a connecting location. Now, my understanding is that since this is a cost you pay to do an action, even if you move to a connecting location, it still triggers, right? Like, you still get to take the investigate action. I'm not convinced that's how it's supposed to work, or that that's how it does work. But I think that that is what does happen. Anyway, that's both of our turns. Swing, investigate, move. We're done on both. Contraband and Brother Xavier. Brother Xavier is actually quite nice, not so much on Contraband. 3 of 6 Doom, evil cards. We have the Ashen Beast. He spawns at the location with the most beast enemies. And X is the number of beast enemies at this location, so currently 1. I'm gonna give this to Skids, I guess. Uncontrolled Fire is back. Guess I'm taking damage on that one, but that's fine. I can deny its existence. It's actually just good. All right, going first on Skids. Only 2 Fist, up 3. Don't commit shit. He's done. Now, moving up isn't as good as I thought it was. I'm going to move up twice. I'm going to gamble with quick thinking. I'm going to commit 1. And as always, if I fail, I've got lucky. This time it actually matters, but I don't. Gain 2. Get an action back. I'm going to test this. Foot 4 to 3. Let's make that 6 to 3. I end my turn and burn a little. I pay Lonnie to do her job and fix the coat, though, so it's fine. Well, Parallel Skids has been doing really well. I've been very happy with Parallel Skids. The thing that happened that held us back a lot at the start wasn't Parallel Skids failing to fight. It was specifically Blood Trunk being very brutal if you get 2 of them. That card might need a max once per character, I think. Not really sure. And then over here on Diana, that was the real problem. I play Read the Signs to investigate at, I can't remember my numbers anymore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, plus 3, 10 to 4. and I cancel the effect of the location, meaning this goes in my basement. Let me double check the wording on all that. I'm definitely reading the signs here to avoid doing that test twice, but I think that wording checks out, right? Cancels or ignored a card effect or game effect. And read the sign, ignores the effect or keyword on your location. Yeah, cool, it works. Wasn't actually expecting to see that go off. As a lightning bolt, I spend 2 clues, and I kill this barricade. Oh, and Diana's ability actually goes off. Yeah, I should gain a resource and draw a card about it. Twilight Blade, huh? Not convinced you're better than Lumen Flower, but I can throw the Lumen Flower underneath. I'm probably going to aggressively throw away Lumen Flower to get Twilight Blade out at this point. I can't get away from this, can I? I can. I can double move. We're definitely moving once. Like, we're not going to be staying in that location. This is 2 Shroud, 4 clues. When it's revealed... Alright, I'm not doing a double move. I'm going to instead get a creature enemy and spawn it with me. There are no creatures left. The beast are beast. We want to go over for creatures. So we're taking the hounds, because I think that's like the only target of this effect. And then we're stabbing the hounds with the dragon pole, I guess. Which is going to be 5 to 2. I don't really do fist icons. I've got dodge. I don't even care if I miss. Just up 3. They're dead anyway. It's fine. Get out of here, idiot. That's it for our turns. Diana will burn a little. I don't have deny existence. Why do you think I have deny existence? I burn a little. It's fine. Game lags out. Brother Xavier, stop that. Anyway, like I was saying, Brother Xavier burns a little bit. Upkeep. I don't need this backpack. I don't know what the other discard is, honestly. I feel like I need all these cards. I'm terrified of throwing Brother Xavier away. The basement's pretty much full. I don't need a second dodge. Dodge can go. We're done. We don't need dodges anymore. Before that, though, we go over here. We go to Skids. I can play the Malzer so I can throw it at somebody to attack at very high numbers. It's not actually good, but it's an option. Anyway. 4 of 6 Doom. Is this like a head test to get rid of? No, it's a double action. But I'm never spending that. It's like the main fighter having Prey is just good. Hunting Party is back. Gleeful Atrocities is back. I mean, this is just swing 3, 4, 5 to 3. I got lucky. I'm up 2. I don't want to spend lucky at this point in the game, though. I'd honestly be willing to reswing if I get a bad token. I don't, though. I don't know which of these is Hospital Tets, but it's one of them. I moved to the next location. Oh, wait. I should put out this uncontrolled fire, shouldn't I? I well connected this then. That seems like the... All right, the fire is raging then. I can commit Nimble. Do I even care about this fire that much? It's gonna burn my coat. Diana's probably gonna move. Diana's not moving. She has an enemy, doesn't she? Well, she's getting an enemy. She could move, though. Yeah, no, I actually just move and burn. It's fine. I don't know why I cared about this uncontrolled fire. I shouldn't have. We use Heavy Verse. That could just be the Sour Grape stalking, though. Over here on Diana, I could get rid of this if I wanted to. Do I know what the last cards in my deck are? Like, I should. Theoretically, I should. Yes, they're Rite of Seeking Clairvoyance. I really don't want to mill them. I test this thing. We're good. We're testing at 1,000,000. Our actual number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. We can burn a little. It's not a big deal. Got to back up Xavier. We attempt to walk down to the objective. Unsurprisingly, we fail. We're going to go grab a blood drunk enemy. I think there are none in the deck. We've done this several times. That is not true. We get this guy. We don't want this guy. You can stay in the deck, buddy. I'm going to get the one from the discard pile instead. That's much easier to deal with. Where are the dogs? I would love the dogs again. The dogs only have 2 fists. It's so much nicer. Anyway, swing. Okay. Well, never mind. Sadly, we don't have that 3rd arcane asset in play to deal with dogs. That would hit if we had another arcane accessory in play, but unfortunately we don't. The dogs hit us. 1 damage here, 1 damage here. I don't want to blow up Xavier yet. I'm gonna overdraw and upkeep anyway. Yeah, I'll throw away Deny Existence. I have the dagger anyway. And to have that here. Give me a card, overdraw. It's still, I didn't actually fix anything, but hey, this isn't getting discarded, so that's nice. And the basement goes up to +5. Alright, now it's upkeep phase. Hey, we can get the rest of the clues in the game now. Good. This is a lot of money. So all of this stuff is probably not getting played. Emergency Cache is definitely getting played. We're looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4 victory locations left. We probably need all of the clue finding assets. So it's Twilight Blade and Xavier that are feeling a little bit unplayable. I want to hold Spectral Razor for Dog. Eldritch Inspiration no longer matters. Read the Signs is just far less efficient than using these cards at this point. I don't even need to discard the Read the Signs, we're already done. We're good. Up here on Upkeep, we're gonna have to discard stuff again. Hospital debts, gotta pay for my mom. I'm just trying to make money, man. I just want to gamble, and I just keep drawing useless fucking guns. I can't gamble like this. I need to have less guns in the deck. Anyway, Evil Phase, 5 of 6 Doom. Ashen Blood Beast can spawn with me, that's fine. Really wish we'd drawn these in the other order. Oh, wait, this is actually a rules thing that I forgot to mention the first time I drew this. If you fail, each Blood Drunk enemy in play resolves its Hunter keyword. If there are no Blood Drunk enemies in play, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until one is revealed, then spawn it at a connecting location. There is a Blood Drunk enemy in play. Do you know what happens if I resolve its keyword? Nothing. It's engaged. Hunters only hunt when they are unengaged at locations with no investigators. So this test actually does nothing. Oh no, I failed. And I'll have to place a barricade. We're not going back that way. But yeah, that actually does nothing. And normally I would be like, we should play it according to the spirit of the rule and not the letter, but things feel bad right now. Diana has to go down to progress the act. Skids can easily kill that guy. He can easily kill this guy. So what's my base? 5 to 2. I'm gonna gamble first. I'm gonna commit my Mauser. Spend 1. I'm currently up by 3. That's fine. Cool. Gain 2 resources. Now I'm going to attack at this point. And this is so that if I like need to use Lucky, it doesn't turn off my Well Connected. I guess I could have done it at any point during the turn. He's just dead. Next, I'm going to swing over. We're up 3 again. I've got Lucky. They're dead. This place is 2 Shroud. It's also on fire. I'm sure it's capped out. And it doesn't have clues. I walk down. At City Center Plaza, we have too much text. This is like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. Reaction: if you succeed a fist test at City Center Plaza by at least 2, you may resolve the Hunter keyword on an enemy at a connected location. And vice versa. Force: if you fail a foot test, you must do that. Also, it gains Pray You. Not that it didn't already have Pray You, but still. Now, next on Daniela, or sorry, on Diana, they're such similar names. I'm going to walk down and spend my 6 clues, which is the amount you need to pass the act, and now Gilbert Fine is here. Gilbert Fine goes into play at City Center Plaza. We do all this stuff in the Act 3 back. We press this button. That happens. That's what it does. And then in addition, we go to Act 3A, a fellow outsider, ignore the typo. Once we go to those manners and we acquire the Tincture of Ether, we can come back and give it to him. These are also victory point locations, so going back up there is hardly a problem. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not feeling the best about Fool Me Once this scenario. It feels like I might have made mistakes. I'm going to play another clue finding asset. I think Rite of Seeking is the better asset, to be honest. I've moved, I've Rite of Seeking. I have 1 action left. I'm not sure what to do with this 1 action. Not sure at all. I can throw away the Lumen Flower for this Twilight Blade, which attacks at 5, 6, 7 instead of 6. It's not even much more accurate. I'm just gonna play Emergency Cache instead of burning. That way I can afford to play more stuff later. That'll be it for us. Upkeep. Spectral Rage is always nice. Calculated Risk hasn't been seeing too much play. Agenda advances. We've been a very slow. We crushed this tempo in our 3-player game, but this time, like, we just have not been getting off the ground fast enough. Act 1, 2, or 3, we put into play the Great Bridge. Alright, I will say it's a little bit insulting that I am being told that the only way to set this up is through the Act 3 setup, because it just assumes... I'm just going to place this now. Pretend that this stuff here doesn't exist. Because the game wasn't really acknowledging that as a possibility. They were like, you're gonna get to Act 3 before Agenda 3, right? I'm like, man, I already felt bad. The fact that the game hasn't even been designed to accommodate the level of tempo that I have is kind of sad. Anyway, that stuff's here now. We have the Cleric Beast. It connects to Under the Great Bridge. It's atop the Great Bridge. And this guy is a 5 health enemy with 2 scaling health, so he's 9/4/2 for us. He's a massive hunter. Whenever you deal damage to him, you have to choose and discard a card from your hand. At the beginning of the enemy phase, if he's ready, everyone at his location test head 3 or take a horror. And if he's defeated by investigators, R2. If he's defeated by a blood drunk enemy, R3. It's looking like we might not be fighting him where he spawns. So I'm gonna go ahead and show off this location now, I guess. If you like are ready for it and you run in, enemies here get +1 to fight actions and -1 to evade. So his actual numbers are 4-3 if you're ready to go take him on immediately. And also there's an ability here to spend clues to deal damage to him. I think that there's some concern here that that ability not being on him or the agenda means that cluevers can't participate in the fight unless they were ready for the fight, which is like something that's wholly out of the cluever's hand, right? So it feels a little bit weird to me, but I do want to show off that if you rush in there, you have a much better chance of fighting him, whereas if he comes to you, he's very much in line with the Ghoul Priest. Anyways, evil cards. You spawn at the location of those beast enemies, which would now be up here. Elderly Huntsman's gonna spawn at a connecting location. Gonna be honest, think we're just gonna throw him in the bottom and never see him again. Think that's the plan. We have to come back to the plaza at some point, and it'll always connect to the plaza, so there's no way to avoid that. I'm glad I'm getting to see this. This is very different from the previous scenario. In the previous scenario, I was here as the fighter, as Daniela just walked in and duked it out with him for a couple of turns. This is a very different scenario for this to be happening. We could both walk in. Yeah, no, okay, this is sick. We're fighting him. I go first on Skids. I move. This guy engages me, unfortunately. Oh wait, it's just objectively better to go first on Diana then, isn't it? I promise, Diana, I promise. I'm not gonna mess this up. She runs in, this guy engages her. And she swings 5-2. No, 6-2 now. Much better number, 4-2. Hey, we're good. All right, get out of here. Now that that's been done, Skids is gonna run in and he's gonna trip the bastard with well connected 7-3. Cool. Skids is gonna stay here and fight him while Diana does the rest of the game. That's it for us. Upkeep phase. Skids, you should have taken a horror. Pay Lonnie to do her job. I'm gonna leave that horror there. I'm pretty sure I forgot to take horror the last time that Lonnie, or my deck shuffled rather. Mob Enforcer's back. This is a bad time, dude. Can you not see the issue at hand? I'm gonna put the cleric piece down here. I know it's not engaged with Skids. However, Skids is the one who's gonna be fighting it for the rest of the scenario. Oh, speaking of, during upkeep, I would like to tap this and, like right before it readies, and put 2 resources on hospital debts. We're getting close to the end of the game. I need to make sure I'm not messing that up. Now, over here, wait, did we even draw an evil card for Skids? No, we just did the upkeep phase. We didn't even put Doom on the agenda. Cool, so we have a Scourge Beast. Do I actually need to attack though? Yeah, I'm gonna Spectral Razor and move twice. I don't actually care about this test at all. So I'll just test the forehead and probably pass. Yeah, it's gone anyway. Now, we go first on Skids. I think I forgot to gamble last turn on Skids. Oh well. We're evading this guy. Well connected. 7-4. 7-3 rather. Up 4. Yes. Cool. He's tripped again. Next, we pay this man $4 to leave us alone. I have used an evade action. I've counted these wrong, which means we can't really kill this. We're going to rely on Spectral Razor for that. That seems sensible to me. So I think we're just swinging at the boss. 4-5-4. Don't really feel like I'm in a position to hard knocks this guy. I commit Act of Desperation to be up 3 instead of up 1. Cool, he takes 2. I'm going to make a big health token for him. He should have 9 health, make this enormous. You know what I didn't do this scenario? I didn't actually count autofills and other signs at all. During editing, I'll have this open and I'll update these as they get dropped, and we'll be able to actually start using them next scenario. Damn shame. He's got 4 plus 8, so he actually only had 8 health, not 9. He's down to 6 then. Over here, Diana is going to use Spectral Razor. I'm going to engage this guy. I'm going to swing at an absolute million, and he's going to die because he is non-elite. I am then going to move twice to this location. This is not the Tincture. It also didn't feel like spawning clues. We're probably going to have to sandbag a little bit. There's only 5 Doom left, actually. We might out getting to sandbag. Anyway, upkeep phase. Deny Existence is my last card. Oh, I forgot to do this. This is actually part of the plan. I wanted to use Faustian Bargain, or sorry, Calculated Risk, after all of my actions to gamble and bet 2. So we were at 12, we go down to 10, and we're up 3. We pass, we gain 2 more. Cool. Just forgot to do that. I was really distracted with something. I don't know. I got no excuse. 2 of 5 Doom and evil cards. Hunting Party is back. There's just so many fucking enemies, man. Diana can't do her job. Okay. We're good. We're fine. On Diana, I'm going to Spectral Razor again. Million. Thank God it wasn't auto-fail. Then I Rite of Seeking. And it's at 1,000,000 again. Like, I can't fail with anything but auto-fail. But I really, really do not want my turn to end. How many symbols are we at in the bag? You know, like a third? Too many? Hey! Good. I'm feeling pressed for action economy. I Rite of Seeking again. That ends my turn, but that time it's fine. It's not a big deal. That's another victory. We're done there. Over here, we're attacking this guy. He's got 3. This isn't good enough. We need Well Connected for the punch. Hard Knocks is getting used on this first one. We're currently looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 to 3. We're up 2. Lucky can finish it. Then we don't do anything. We just keep relying on this one Lucky. There's got to be so much value. Holy shit. The number of times I've not spent 2 money because I have 1 Lucky in hand is outrageous. Next action, Well Connected. Up 3. Up 1. Sign me up, buddy. I'm all for it. I'm gonna take this again. Remove the curse. This guy's tripped. I'm not leaving him next to me. Because I think I have to leave and help with clues. Yes. I have to leave and help with something. It's not necessarily clues. But you'll see in a second. I leave as my last action. And then we calculated gamble. Or calculated risk, rather. Up 3. Cool. And because we passed that, we're going to go ahead and spend the time to hospital debts again. That brings us to upkeep. This Mauser's not getting played. This Thompson's getting played even less, though. Over here, we're taking a horror on Brother Xavier. And our hand isn't even full. 3 of 5 Doom. This guy readies evil cards. Hunting Party is back. Over here, it's just non-stop. I don't think you were supposed to be there, whatever you are. It was an Ashen Affliction. There's so many enemies. It's a little bit nuts. I do really like that there are a ton of enemies, but I feel like we have like 1 enemy too many, or maybe could throw in some head test treachery cards. Like the amount of enemy density is just outrageous. This is not the tincture, so Diana needs to move twice. I ain't got time for that shit. I move, they attack. The first one kills Brother Xavier, he explodes and kills them. And then I move again. We're at the Deserted Manor, it only has 2 clues. And now I can get the Tincture of Ether here. Do I have a Read the Signs? I have a Read the Signs. I'm very much out of clue finding power, but we've made it just far enough. I Read the Signs. It's at 1,000,000 basically, but I need to count because I've lost some stuff. 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 to 4. Good. Perfectly fine. Don't get me wrong, I would like those cards. But we now have the Tincture of Ether. Now on Skid's turn, Well Connected, I only have 1 test that matters this turn. Slap him. Don't make me do math. All right, we're good. Goodbye again, Reashrod. See you never, I guess. We walk down, and since we remembered that we're here, Gilbert Fine can have his thing done, right? Lightning Bolt, if you have, we have. You slip it into his inventory, blah, blah, blah. Place him in the victory display. This is a little jank thing that might have happened here. I feel like in an official scenario, maybe the way that would have worked is there would have been a Tincture of Ether and bandages as things you place at those locations. Because there's the thing I just did that happens that's kind of weird, where somebody remembered it and it just teleported across over to Skids. I don't mind it working like this, but I do notice that that's not how it tends to work in official scenarios. Anyway, that's my first 2 actions. I can't walk up. I'll get hit very bad if I do. I'm going to put more money in here. I'm going to add 2 curses. I'm going to play Faustian Bargain. I'm going to gamble at the very least up 2 for 1, or up to for 2 rather. That seems fine. That's good enough. I lost the money. Who cares? All right. The Cleric Beast hunts. And I think we're going to go kill him this turn, because if we don't, we do lose the scenario. 4 Doom. Evil cards. Like, Also, I'm not really sure what it is. Something's gone wrong somewhere along the line in tabletop sim. A bunch of cards come out in different orientations, and then like when you switch one, it switches all of them. And I'm not sure what's causing that, but it is obviously a bit of a hassle. Daniela, you can't be blood drunk right now. You need to deal damage. Earlier when I hit the boss, I forgot to discard a card. I'm going to throw away Scrounge for supplies. Just realized that when I was thinking about how Daniela can possibly contribute now that she's blood drunk on the last turn. Promise of Power. She gets to swing once for 3, which combined with Backstab should kill. We're looking at 6, 10, 8 to 5. I can go 10 to 5. I forgot to do Upkeep. We did our Mythos cards, right? Yeah, Blood Drunk and the Wolf. Oh, I got shot for a damage, and I spend a resource to heal it with Lane. It's not even right, it's objectively wrong. I don't need to heal, but I'm doing it anyway. Hospital debts are handled. So, the locations I didn't get to show off because we had a terrible opening tempo-wise. I want to say this is something I really like. Spending clues to get through here and go down this path so that you can resign. I forgot to advance the act when I did the Gilbert thing. He's fine, so we advance. And then we do the setup. I've already clicked it. It's what adds these locations in. Agenda 3 or Act 3 can add this stuff in. And you can see it says exactly that. You put into play the top stuff, and then if it's Agenda 1 or 2, meaning you haven't put into play the Cleric piece, you put in the bottom stuff. Cool, cool, cool. And then our final act, no clues, you just need to resign. The resign location's all the way over here. Just like Cleric piece is Victory 2, this is also Victory 2. It is very, very hard to get to, though. You have to clear the clues. You have to get through the narrow alleyway, which cannot have more than one investigator occupying it at a time. I'll say that you probably want to adjust this for player count. Like in a 4-player campaign, that needs to be 2 people. And 3, I'm not sure if it needs to be 2 people. It probably does. In 1 or 2, it's fine. But in narrow alleyway in 4-player, basically means you have to kill the boss. One person has to go clear out 8 clues at a 4-shroud location after this much scenario has been played out. I didn't mean to move Diana, I was trying to box it and show how much game we've already played. And there were 2 locations before this that got removed. But yeah, I love seeing this, where usually when I see a Victory 2 enemy or a Victory 2 location with Resign, I think, let's do them both. We can do them both. And in my previous playthrough at 3 players, we also experienced, like, there's no way we're doing them both. It's not happening. There's no chance in hell, man. Anyway, let's go fight the boss. Backstab is better than the cleaver, right? It's the same either way is the issue. Either way, if it hits, we're good. If it misses, we're screwed. And like, we're swinging at a million. I'm passing my other action, just like, do you auto-fail? Stop being dramatic. -5, we don't auto-fail, that's good enough. 3 damage. I swing for 2. Cool, he's got 1 health, but I can't finish him off. And now let's still rely on the thing that it was always going to come down to. Diana walks in. She swings, Promise of Power, Deny Existence, Bandolier, this thing. I think I actually get 2 chances to hit it now. Because we landed 2 hits with this many commits, I actually think we get 2 shots now. Our first one is base 5 down to 3. We can go up to 7 to 5. That's not good enough. So we can go up +4 once, and then the second time it's just even. Can we commit Fist over here? In that case, since we're looking at +4 and even, we commit it all at once to beat literally every token, and we just don't auto-fail. Easy. Dead. Get him out of here. Very close to not succeeding. I guess this would have been engaged with Skids, not that it did anything that mattered. Oh, also, we discard Contraband and Malzer and Emergency Cache. Like, that effect doesn't actually matter. I would say one thing that I get the impression from when playing this scenario, and the next one especially, there's just like a little bit too much text. It's not that the cards are individually overcomplicated, but the amount you see over the course of a scenario is very, very high. Like, look at this. Like, these are in the victory display, and just these 2 cards are a tremendous number of text. So for some mechanics, I feel like you can simplify them without really making the scenarios worse. I feel like if this first force effect where you choose and discard a card from hand every time you dealt damage to it wasn't there, it would virtually change nothing. I think most characters wouldn't even notice that, because like as you saw in my playthrough, no one cared. But I think the characters that will notice it will feel like they literally can't fight the boss because of it. But yeah, on the whole, I really, really like the scenario. I love the amount of fighting. The fact there's basically no head test. Like, the only head test is to remove a card that reduces your foot. It's not actually a head test. It's a head test to not get Prey You. That's a super soft card you don't care about. It's a head test to get rid of Blood Drunk. So there are head tests specifically for fist-based fighters. There are almost no actual head tests in the scenario. There's a tremendous number of enemies, and both of those things feel too far. It feels like there should be one more head test, like a rotting remains or something. It feels like there should be slightly lower percentage of enemies. I definitely noticed that feeling a bit out of balance to me. But on the whole, I absolutely love the scenario. I like that each section of the act just reveals more map and you play more Arkham. I think it does a good job of conveying like the same thing as War of the Outer Gods, right? Where you have two different factions fighting. I think it does that well. I really like that you get a different resolution if you find a way to cheese out the cleric beast with the blood drunk enemies, which is itself very unlikely because all the events that pull enemies pull blood drunks, not beasts. So it's very unlikely you have a lot of blood drunks spawning late in the game to fight the cleric beast. I will point out something that just occurred to me when I was talking about fighting the cleric beast. If you're fighting the cleric beast, blood drunk hunters can't be fighting the cleric beast, because each ready blood drunk enemy deals its damage value to each beast enemy at its location, and then vice versa. Means that if you're engaged with those enemies, because they would be if you were at that location, they can't actually hit the cleric beast. In addition to that, another thing, this guy can shoot you and also fight people at his location because they're not exhausting. Both of those things might be like slight oversights, not necessarily huge deals, but it sort of feels like rules slipping through the cracks. I don't know if it feels intentional to me. And I want to mention again, if this were released as a final scenario for Arkham Horror, like from the publishers, from Fantasy Flight, I'd be a lot less critical of a lot of these things. I wouldn't mention them. The fact that I could do this teleport with the objective, for instance, means nothing to me. I wouldn't mention it if it were an official campaign. There are some little things in my feelings in some ways where I feel like the game could be improved, but on the whole, this is actually just really, really good. I would include with your disclaimer, there's a lot of flavor text, a disclaimer like, holy shit, the enemy deck is 50% enemies. It's the highest ratio in any campaign. No official campaign has this many enemies. This is outrageously high. And I don't dislike that. I actually really like that. I want to be able to play campaigns where you care that you had Nacho as your fighter, and this is one of them. Anyways, what did we get for victory? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't get the other locations, sadly. And we also got this one over here that I forgot to put in the display at the time, which brings us up to 8 because the cleric beast himself is 2, which is a lot of experience. And I was initially alarmed when I looked at this and saw that there are potentially 11 experience on the map in a full campaign. I think I wouldn't mind seeing this location not have victory, because the potential max XP for a stomp is just really high, and if you go here, it's the same as killing a cleric beast. But on the whole, I don't mind that this looks to be a very high experience campaign, because I really enjoy high experience campaigns. I like Forgotten Age, Edge of the Earth, and Scarlet Keys. I like getting to build big, crazy decks. Also, something I just forgot to do when I was doing Agenda 3, I think. Yes, at the bottom we record in the campaign log that the investigators have eased Gilbert's pain. And it looks like we're getting out with 2 recognition from Scenario 1. What I'm actually going to be doing here is marking what I got from each scenario. Got 2 recognition, 8 experience. And up here at the top, I'll mark my actual recognition number. And that's it for now. I'll see you next time with more Arkham Horror as we continue our playtesting in Fear the Old Blood. If you thought Dogs of War was the tower defense minigame in Arkham Horror, you have no idea what's coming next. Because holy shit, this is the most tower defense I've ever seen. I actually like it a lot more than Dogs of War. I have problems with it. This is definitely very alpha testing. I have a lot to say about the next scenario. But even though it's super rough draft right now, it feels like, it is way more interesting to me than Dogs of War was. Talk about that more next time. I've been rather coherent. I've been enjoying talking about and playing the Bloodborne fan campaign. I hope you're enjoying seeing this too. I hope me trying to analyze and get feedback isn't bogging it down in a way that's at least, I know it is bogging it down, but I hope that it's at least interesting to hear and helpful to the creators. And I don't assume they're watching the entire series. I will again be uploading an entire video that is just me giving all of my things that I've noticed throughout this. I have a word pad. I've been making notes. I'll make more notes after this. This is from my first scenario off the channel, and I'll see if I have any new notes to add to it. And I'll go through all of this in a final review video. But for now, I'm done. I've been rather incoherent. Hope you've been enjoying Bloodborne with me, and I'll see you in the next one. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. All that nonsense really does help the channel grow, and I'll see you then.